In the year 3047, war raged across Earth, but it wasn't a war of humans alone. The Drassari, an alien species of metal-clad conquerors, descended from the stars, wielding technology far beyond humanity's comprehension. Plasma cannons, nanite shields, and mech-suited warriors made Earth's defenses crumble in weeks. What little of humanity remained was scattered, hiding in pockets across ruined cities. 12-year-old Lyra Vynn lived in the outskirts of Old Denver, in a dilapidated farmhouse with her grandfather. To the rest of the world, Grandfather Vynn was an eccentric relic of a bygone age, crafting bows, swords, and crossbows from wood and steel, as if the days of plasma rifles and energy shields had never come. "These aren't weapons," the neighbors scoffed. "They're antiques." But Lyra loved the weapons her grandfather forged, especially old Screecher, an ancient crossbow he had spent decades perfecting. It was sleek, deadly, and carved with strange, swirling runes that glowed faintly in the dark. "Why does it glow, Grandpa?" Lyra had asked once. Her grandfather's eyes twinkled. "Because it remembers the reckoning." One cold evening, the Drassari scout ships arrived in their sector, hovering like predatory hawks. From their ships, the aliens released hunter units, metal machines with scanning beams that turned living things into ash. Lyra's farmhouse was next on the list. "We have to hide," Lyra pleaded as the low hum of hunter drones approached. Her grandfather shook his head and handed her old Screecher. "It's time, child. I can't hold them back, but you can." Lyra stared at him. "With this? Against them? They laugh at the old ways, but they do not understand." He gripped her shoulder. "That crossbow was forged with the wisdom of the ancients. It was made to fight the enemy beyond our stars." She didn't fully understand, but when the first hunter drone breached the farmhouse, Lyra's instincts kicked in. She loaded a bolt, pulled back the string with trembling hands, and fired. The screech was deafening, like 1,000 whistles cutting through steel. The bolt struck the hunter drone, not just piercing it but disintegrating it. A bright ripple of blue light spread from the impact, short-circuiting 3 other nearby drones. Their metallic frames collapsed into heaps of molten slag. The crossbow's secret. Lyra's eyes widened as the glow of the crossbow intensified. This was no ordinary weapon. "It's alive," she whispered. As the hum of more Drassari drones filled the air, Lyra ran outside. She loaded bolt after bolt, and old Screecher worked its magic. Each shot did more than destroy. It unraveled the energy shields that made the Drassari invincible. The air vibrated with power every time the runed bolt struck, resonating with frequencies that made the aliens' machine scream. Lyra moved like she'd been training for this her entire life. Every shot was precise, guided by something deep in the weapon, perhaps even a spirit. The Drassari, who had mocked humanity's primitive tools, now faced an unstoppable force. The alien truth. From their command ship, the Drassari warlord Xylar watched the girl with growing dread. "Impossible," he hissed, slamming a metal fist into his console. "A human child with that relic?" His lieutenant, a gaunt alien with holographic lenses, whispered fearfully, "The ancients of their world, we destroyed them eons ago." Yet their weapons were said to bind the weave of matter itself. Xylar snarled. "And you let their descendant awaken it?" The final stand. By dawn, Lyra stood at the farmhouse alone, surrounded by alien wreckage. The remaining Drassari forces descended for a final assault, their mothership blotting out the sun. Her grandfather's voice echoed in her mind. "They do not understand the old ways." "But you do." Lyra knelt and whispered to old Screecher, her voice trembling but resolute. "Let's show them." The crossbow flared so brightly it lit the skies. Lyra aimed it at the mothership and fired a single, perfect shot. The bolt flew faster than any plasma beam, piercing the ship's hull and detonating in a wave of light. The mothership split apart, its destruction cascading like a collapsing star. The explosion rippled through the clouds, and the alien fleet scattered, retreating into the void. The hero of the Crossbow. When the survivors of humanity emerged, they found Lyra standing with a crossbow glowing softly in her hands. She was no longer just a girl. She was a legend. They laughed at it, she whispered, smiling faintly. But it remembered, and so did the world.